Welcome to another episode of Ruggers. Francois, according to you and all the popcorn lovers, dull rugby that produced results this weekend. Let's start. The first game was the Pumas and the Lions. The Pumas whooped the Lions 39-10. Your impressions?
Well, on face value, one would think it's quite a surprise. Then when I watched the game and the highlights after that, it was very clear that the Lions came out roaring in the first 20 minutes of the match. But after that, the Pumas just started outclassing them in all aspects.
I mean, we're not looking for excuses for the Lions, but they were severely affected by COVID. They had the previous week to cancel the last Rainbow Cup against Western Province, so they did miss quite a bit of first line players. I mean, the guys want to kill poor Cash and Sean Erasmus and all those guys. But truth be told,
a weakened team.
A weakened team. But Jimmy Stonehouse has shown, if you play proper South African rugby, you will win games.
Correct. They're a well-coached team, the Pumas. Very, very clinical, very effective. Yeah. So
in the face, everything. So that's I'm a Lions supporter, but I mean the way that the Pumas played the game, and we saw an exact mirror image on that on the last game of the weekend we'll discuss just now. So the first one, a bit of a surprise, but not really a surprise if you take into account the amount of players or first line players after Lions that wasn't there, but still with the players they had to win. No excuses.
Correct. 39-10 was the final score there in favour of the Pumas.
Yeah. And then the Sharks travelled to Kimberley and they were made to work extremely hard for this win.
Correct. 30 for the Sharks, 10 for
16 for Griquas.
Sorry again, 16 for Griquas, yes.
Yeah, so always difficult. I feel sorry for Griquas, but something is not working at the Griquas. It's just, if something is missing, they struggle to win.
Yeah. I think they were their own worst enemy. Lots of lost opportunities, lots of penalties. I think the penalty count was 15 that they gave away. So, that's making it easy for the opposing team. So, yes.
Yeah, and the Sharks was also, I mean, they were without 9 of their first choice players. Pepsi Buthelezi, new captain.
Yes.
PJ Botha on the other side, new captain. So we've seen quite a bit of new captains this weekend. Because the Lions was also the first time captained by the other guy. So a lot of new captains, a lot of new blood. It feels like the same like we did the previous Currie Cup. A lot of new players, a lot of new faces and everything. And then you were at Loftus Versfeld.
Correct.
Sistoch.
Yes. No, it was a good experience in the sense of, I always say this again. I'm always for the guy that supports opportunities, and this weekend was an opportunity for the Bulls. Yes, they were out 44 of the regular players that could not play for this match against Western Province. It forced the Bulls Union to pull up even 8 club players, and obviously at the debutants, I think there were 23 in that match, and only 2 senior players were available for that.
But you must be careful. You can't say Johan Mulder is not a seasoned player. You can't say Laurits van der Schuyf is not a seasoned player.
Yes.
The 8th man of Tux also played previously for the Bulls Junior. Most of these players come out of the Bulls Junior structures.
Yes.
So to claim it's a Willem stunt, to claim all the innocent and everything, we were not prepared, and it was a good team.
Yes, and you know what? And they played well. I mean, yes, they lost. I mean, the final score was 48 for Western Province, the more experienced team. The experience showed in terms of the play in the field, the very strong driving maul from the penalty lineouts, which was supported or resulted in most of Western Province's tries. But give the Bulls credit for they worked hard for the 24 points. The few occasions that they were allowed into Province's quarter, because Province kept them pinned and defending most of the time for most of the play in their own in the Bulls quarter. So the tries that were the 4 tries that were scored were actually well worked tries. So yes, it's nice to see the talent that's still there, and that's hopefully, I'm sure we'll see some of those players in a more permanent fixture wearing the Bull strip.
Ja, sis toch. Your player of the match, outstanding players for that match?
I would say for Bulls side, I would go with my favourite, Johan Mulder. Always, he was ball distribution was all over the place.
One has to ask the question. Johan was contracted at the Bulls until October last year.
Yes.
Why? We know they've got 2 brilliant other scrum halves, 3
Yes.
4. Van der Linde is there. There's a lot of good scrum halves, but is Johan really the worst of the scrum halves?
4? Probably not. Then again, I'm not a selector. I'm just it's just an opinion. So.
No, but at Ruggers you must pretend that you know everything. No, it's just a question. Why haven't nobody picked him up at this stage?
From where? Yes, from Tuks, Tuks Club. Good question. Maybe somebody can answer that for us.
Okay, and then from the Western Province?
Western Province side, probably the captain, flank. He played excellently well. Ex-Paul Jimboy. Strong runs, powerful breaks, leading from the front. No, and impressive overall. Yeah.
And Evan Roos?
Definitely Evan Roos as well.
I think Evan Roos is one of the success stories. He was a castaway from the Sharks. He played behind Buthelezi and Pepsi, and he got his chance now at the Western Province. And I mean, he's really putting up his hand. Yeah. According to me, the best 8th apart from those that's at the Springbok camp.
Yes, no, he had some very good, powerful runs, breaking the ball, drawing defenders, and then opening up the play and opportunities for offloading the ball and getting it out wide. So, no, definitely.
And Western Province played him the whole side on the wing. He was 90% of the time he attacked from one in or at the wing.
As a matter of fact, yes, it's probably one of his best games I've seen from him so far. I think he's really finding he's flourishing now with Province. And it was a brilliant move getting him across to Province from the Sharks. I think where he didn't have much opportunity.
Yeah, in a presser, I asked John Dobson if that's in your attitude, because they've got now Hachivas Jamani from the Lions also. So it seems like these guys is looking for discarded players and taking them to Province and making them stars.
Well, if it works, it works.
All right, we skipped the players that stood out for you between at Griquas and Sharks.
I'll let you have that one.
Why?
Otherwise, I'm biased.
Yeah, Pepsi Buthelezi was outstanding as a captain there, and his general play was the first 20-30 minutes. He was really, really good, and we just spoke about Evan, and one can understand why the Sharks had to make a decision, and that's good of the Sharks that they allowed then Evan to go, because obviously they opted for Pepsi. Pepsi, standout player for me.
Great.
And then
Griquas for you?
Griquas was difficult. Everybody, according to me, struggled. It's what's that number 6 of theirs? He was really good. Oh yes, wait a minute. Griquas, Edwin Keita. I mean, Edwin was brilliant. I cannot understand. And it's again an Affie boy. We keep on naming Affie boys here. 1 or 2 Paul Gims that slips in. That's not supposed to happen. But Edwin Keita is the most complete winger in South African rugby. He worked his backside off. He was involved in most of the loose play. Whenever he got the smallest gap with ball in hand, he put the Sharks under pressure. And he scored a brilliant try also.
Your Lions player? Because I know what my Pumas player is going to be.
Who's your Pumas player?
Willie Engelbrecht.
No, Simon Westraat.
Okay.
It's Simon Westraat is your typical, I mean, he's 98 or 96 years old, as hard as nails, and he gave them hell up front. And then the question again, the Lions sits with Damien Venter, that's in the same mould, and they don't play him. But Simon Westraat, that I agree with you, Willie is good. But Willie was the defensive system of the Lions, especially the try of Willie. I mean, that flanker on the side that he broke, you had to catch him before he went past the gap of the scrum. And he only woke up after Willie scored the try.
That's why I enjoy watching Willie play. You know, he's an excellent finisher, very strong, especially close to the try line. You're going to always struggle to stop him. And a stalwart of the Puma team by now.
Yeah, so that's it. More or less that's done. The Lions player of the... I can't think of anybody that stood out.
No. I think you mentioned your one.
Yeah, so that's it. And then the big game where all the Bulls supporters, myself included, I thought it would be an easy game for the Bulls there if we read all the reports, overseas newspapers and everything that we tried to read and follow. Everybody had the Bulls as favourites. But then
Benetton decided to play rugby on the day.
Yeah, and I think that's a wake-up call for all of the South African teams that's going to play overseas. That's the type of rugby you're going to play against. Hard as nail forwards, backs running at you at pace, not popcorn rugby, throwing the ball 500 meters and doing nothing, running at you straight. I mean, they bullied the Bulls. When last did you see the Bulls being bullied?
They actually looked quite helpless, as a matter of fact. They just couldn't find, and you know what? Nothing worked for the Bulls on the day. Nothing. I mean, passes, kicks that were out in the full, losing lineouts at critical stages. We could have swung the balance in their favour.
But they were under pressure the whole time.
Correct. It's from being under pressure. Yeah. And don't forget about the referees in the Northern Hemisphere. We got to learn to know the referees.
Okay, so that's a Paul Gim trait and a Bulls trait. Always go back to the bad referee.
No, not a bad referee. Strict referees. I mean, if the way you're not going to get away with certain aspects with the Northern Hemisphere referees, they're going to punish you. And we got to learn how to read them and how to adapt to the refereeing style in the Northern Hemisphere.
And what was nice after the game, both Jake White and Marcel Coetzee just said we were bullied.
They were
actually, if they said anything else, everybody would laugh at them.
No, but they were honest, and they said it as well. The question was asked, and Jake answered. It was said it was a good wake-up call, specifically with the up-and-coming United Rugby Championship starting in September. Got to be prepared. It's not going to be a walkover. Got to adapt to the Northern Hemisphere style of play, and we'll do it. I'm sure we'll do it. We have the ability. It's just.
Do we have the ability? Because South Africa is, I mean, time with the ball in hand, time in play, and it's not winning rugby. The more, I wanted to say, what was that South Afrikaner politician? The one with the beard that.
There were many.
No man, he fell off the horse also and he had a hole in his underpants. Eugene de Blanche. I want him to stand up and say, my folk, bekeer, bekeer. We're not going to win rugby. With the type of rugby that we're playing now, we're going to get hiding after hiding after hiding in the European.
Okay. The proof will be in the pudding.
There won't be much pudding. The Bulls had humble pie, if you can call that pudding.
Definitely.
But definitely, I mean, Benetton, that was nobody's favourite. They had a good year, and they showed South Africa exactly what.
Captained by South African, by the way. Yes.
Yeah.
And there were a few in the team. But yes, take nothing away from Benetton. Well prepared, did their homework, played hard, grinding, in-your-face rugby. Bulls were under pressure, just better than the Bulls on the day.
On the week, on the 2 months. But yeah, that's, I mean, we're not enjoying that the Bulls lost, but we must be honest, they wouldn't have gone to play without being properly prepared. So we weren't prepared. He knew exactly what he was going to meet. He just didn't have the staff to play the rugby that was needed to play. You think Dwayne Vermeulen and those guys would have made a difference?
Probably yes, but it's a big difference. Probably not. In my opinion, I think his presence has always lifts the Bulls game. But then again, you know, one man cannot be a whole team.
I think the captaincy of Dwayne would have made a big mistake. And sorry, Marcel Coetzee never stood up. He's not the same captain as Dwayne.
Probably different people.
Definitely different people. The colour of their beards are also different. But that's it. That's the weekend's rugby. Interesting. Only the Pumas was the only home team that won the game.
True.
In the B division, none of the home teams won the game.
All away wins.
All away wins. So that was the first week of Currie Cup. Let's have a look what's happening.
Yes.
And in the future, next week. Oh, Wednesday already.
Wednesday.
It's the Lions against Western Province, no?
If I'm correct.
Yeah.
And then again on the weekend, more rugby running on. And yes, Baby Box, next game is the Pumitas on Wednesday as well.
Yeah.
So did we discuss the Baby Box?
No, we did not. We'll do that in a program just after this
one. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed the weekend. I certainly did. Thanks a lot.